I was trapped inside my body for more than a decade. The doctors said I was unaware, but I could see and hear everything.
I said to him one day, "I hope you die." And I had no idea that he understood.
I understood where that was coming from.
And I'm very, very sorry I said it.
On December 31st, 1975, Martin Pistorius was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. He was the eldest of 3 children in a close-knit family. His early years were marked by curiosity and creativity. By the time he turned 12, Martin was a bright, inquisitive boy with a knack for technology. His parents often joked that he could fix anything: computers, gadgets, even the family's broken toaster. But in January 1988, everything changed.
As a child growing up, I was perhaps a little quieter than most, but happy, healthy, and always busy with something. Shortly after my 12th birthday, I became ill.
One day, Martin came home from school with a sore throat, typically what could happen to any kid. It seemed like nothing more than a cold at first, but day by day his health got worse.
I came home from school with what seemed like a cold, and within months I was an empty shell of the vibrant little boy I once was.
He stopped eating. He slept constantly. His body grew weaker, his movements more labored. What began as a sore throat spiraled into something far more sinister. Martin's health rapidly deteriorated. His mother left her job as a radiographer to care for him, while his father worked long hours to support the family. As Martin's condition worsened, they made the difficult decision to place him in a care home during the day, bringing him home only at night. Martin's mind faded first. Then his ability to recognize faces. His fingers and toes curled into a claw-like shape. He could no longer eat or drink on his own, while his body functioned on mere instinct. Doctors were baffled, running test after test, but no clear answer emerged. Weeks turned into months, months into years. Later, doctor discovered that Martin was diagnosed with a degenerative neurological condition. Doctors told his parents to take him home and make him comfortable till he die, as there's no possibility he could survive.
They were told to take me home and try to keep me comfortable until I died. My parents, in fact my entire family's lives, became consumed by taking care of me the best they knew how.
I tried to commit suicide because I just couldn't handle it anymore. I thought my child had died, even though he wasn't dead. Well, the child that I knew had died, yes.
Martin, however, did not die. Slowly his mind returned, but his body remained trapped. At first his thoughts were hazy, memories of Nelson Mandela's 1994 inauguration blending with Princess Diana's 1997 death in a confusing blur. But as his awareness sharpened, so did his horror. He was completely paralyzed, unable to signal to anyone that he was conscious. For years his father dressed him, moved him, and spoke to him, never realizing Martin was absorbing every word. The worst part was the isolation. Martin was treated like an object, not a person. His days blurred into endless reruns of Barney the Dinosaur, the only sound in his silent prison.
I often spent my days positioned in front of the TV watching Barney reruns. I think because Barney is so happy and jolly, and I absolutely wasn't, it made it so much worse. I was completely powerless to change anything in my life.
Some nurses were cruel, force-feeding him even when he vomited. He had no way to resist, no way to tell anyone. The only thing keeping him going was the desperate hope that one day someone would see him. That person arrived in the form of Verna, a woman who visited the care home offering aromatherapy and massage therapy. She treated Martin's limbs, easing the stiffness and tension that no one else cared about. For the first time in years, someone touched him with kindness. Determined to show her he was aware, Martin mustered all his strength to make eye contact. It was a monumental effort, as his head felt like a block of concrete, and people rarely positioned themselves at eye level. But Verna noticed.
When you spoke to him, you could see his eyes are talking back to you. There was a sparkle in it. He was there.
She suggested to the care home staff that Martin might be conscious, but they dismissed her concerns. Undeterred, Verna took her suspicions directly to Martin's parents, urging them to have him tested. Then in July 2001, after 13.5 years in a waking coma, Martin's parents took him to the Center for Augmentative and Alternative Communication at the University of Pretoria. There, speech therapist Shakila conducted tests to see if he could recognize words and images. At first he struggled. His brain had forgotten what words looked like, but when they changed the test to a pointer system, he gave his first undeniable sign. He deliberately stopped on the correct word. With more tests, the therapists confirmed his cognition was intact, and he began learning symbol-based communication. Eventually, he used a computer program with a voice-generating system, similar to what Stephen Hawking used. It was slow, but it was freedom. Martin typed his first full sentence after 13.5 years. Martin's journey didn't end with communication. He learned how to use specialized devices, then taught himself how to build websites, eventually working as a web developer. In 2013, he married Joanna, the love of his life, and in 2018, they welcomed their healthy son, Sebastian.
You are my soulmate, my best friend, my companion, my lover, my rock and strength. So will you do me the honor, the enormous privilege of sharing the rest of my life with me by becoming my wife?
I feel like saying yes again.